Welcome back to the Crochet Credits, those my friends at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do a Tunisian Entrelac baby blanket. This is a comprehensive video. We will go step by step and I'll try to take my time as much as I can. We're going to be using Bernat Softee Chunky yarn. You can also use Bernat Softee Baby Chunky or just a yarn that is really quite thick, just like you see. You can see the video description for the link for this free pattern for what you're looking at. If you would like to change the size and make it bigger or smaller, it's in multiples of 10 plus 13. So you just chain 10, 10, 10, 10, and when you're happy with the length of the chain, you add 13. So there will be a trick to that when we get there. So this particular pattern is very wordy because it is entrelac, but once you see the steps and you understand the repeating, it actually is pretty simple at the end of the day. So I filmed this years ago. There was mistakes in that tutorial, which was taken out a couple years ago, and I needed to figure out what the multiple was in order to do that, and so that was my afternoon project today. So what we're going to do is get started right away. We are going to be using an Afghan hook, and I'm using an 8mm, but the pattern is recommending a 9mm, which is an L, or what pattern, what is that? That's an M. So without further ado, we're going to get started on the beginning chain and then work ourselves up sequentially. We use video chapters. You can see that in the video description and or pinned comment, and you can fast forward and go back in time depending on where you are in the pattern. If you would like to match the baby version, it's 113 as your chains, and that is a multiple 10 plus 13. So we're just going to start with a slip knot on your hook, and I will do a little swatch with you on camera, just to show you, because the stepping of going across is the same. So if you do the multiples of 10 plus 13, then you can either chain 113 or start chaining in multiples of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this equals one square, but it's not one square like this. It's actually one square like that, if that helps you have an indication. So I'm going to do another multiple 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I have two multiples. Again, it's going to be like up and down like a wave. And so if I'm happy with the length of the chain and I just want to finish off, I want to do another 13. So it's multiples of 10 plus 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now I have my stitch multiple of 10 plus 13, and if you have 113 from the baby blanket, you'll be ready to go in the next row. So let's begin our first triangle, which will be on the side. So here in the pattern, the first part will be a triangle, then it will go to squares all the way to the end, and then a triangle will finish on the other side. So let's take our time. If you want to fast forward, you can. So what you can do, second chain from the hook. So there's the first, go to the second, grab the back hump of the chain because it'll look nicer. And you're going to insert your hook in and create a single crochet here. So wrap the yarn, pull through, and then pull through 2. And what I need to divert your eyes to is actually this right here. Okay, so we're going to be using this as we're going across on this first one going through. So we're going to go for your next one. So you're just going to go behind the vertical, yarn over, pull through, and you are going to go into the very next chain, in, and yarn over, pull through. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. The triangle is made up of 7, so we've only got 3 done so far. So we're going to yarn over and pull through 2s all the way back. So yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So now we're going to go forward. So we start again, and we're going to collect the first vertical that you see right here. So it's a lot easier to see this time. So you're going to collect the first one behind it, yarn over through. This is called the Tunisian simple stitch. And the next one is right here. Okay, and that's where you're going to go. And then we go to the next one on the chain. pull through. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. Once you have 4, you're going to yarn over, pull through 2s all the way back. So keep yarning over, pulling it through 2, and yarning over, pulling it through 2. So you're now ready to do forward pass again. So we start with the first one right here. Okay, so we don't ever worry about the one on the edge, always the second one in, behind it, and yarn over, pull through. Get the next one. And then we have to pick up this one right here. And then we go to the next one on the chain. Okay, now we see 5 loops on the hook. So we yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and keep doing that all the way back. Okay, now we're going to do a forward pass. So we pick up the first one again, and the next, and keep doing that, and we keep going, and the next one is right here. I want to make sure you don't miss that. And then pick up the next one on the chain. How many loops will be on the hook? Well, if last time it was 5, this time it'll be 6. So yarn over, pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, we're going to do a forward pass. So we're just going to pick up. Okay, and don't forget that last one. It's right here. And then back on the chain for the next one. Okay, so we see 7 loops in the hook. This is the last time we're going to be doing this triangle. So we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 all the way back. So we have to do a bind off to finish this particular triangle. So to do a bind off, you are going to use those verticals like you have been, and you're going to come behind the first one, yarn over, pull through, but gently pull through the first loop. So keep it a little bit flexible, okay? So don't be too tight with that because you'll be using that stitch later. So the next one, yarn over, pull through, and through. And keep doing that across. Okay, so normally we would have gone into this stitch right here. We're going to ignore it, and we're just going to slip stitch in the stitch where that's sitting. Okay, that chain, and we're going to slip right into that position. And so now you've just created the triangle. So now we're going to move on to a square. The squares are really quite easy. So the squares you'll be doing all the way across until you get to the other side. So starting in the next chain, you're going to yarn over and pick those up, the back loop only, and pick up the next 6. So that was 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So with the loop was already on the hook and you picked up 6, you see the magic number of 7. We're now going to return pass. So normally in entrelac, we always get kind of like just yarn over and pull through 1 loop and then start your 2s. But in this particular pattern on the first pass here, we yarn over and just immediately pass through 2. And we keep doing 2s all the way back. So I'm going to show you a little cheating technique to prevent yourself from excessively counting. So you've gone all the way back so that there's only 1 loop left on the hook. So let's do a forward pass. So we pick up the verticals again, and we pick up the first 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But you know that there's another stitch right here. Ignore it. And you're going to immediately just get that next one on the chain, and you're just going to grab the next one on the chain and yarn over, going in, yarn over, and pull through. And you should count 7 loops left on the hook. So yarn over, pull through 2s all the way back. So I want to draw your attention to the counting. This is 1 row. See how it's like a picket fence? That's 1.5. You want to keep doing this until you can see 4.5. So starting in the vertical, next one again, and you go forward and only collect the first 5. You'll be able to identify it. Do you see when you go forward that the picket fence gets filled in? That's why you bind off going forward in this particular pattern, or any kind of entrelac. So once you pick up the first 5, you come to the next empty one in the chain. Make sure it's not twisting in any weird way. Pick it up, and you're back to 7, and you return pass again. And now I can physically see that there's 2.5 rows done. Do you see it? So let's go in the forward pass again. So I'm looking for 4.5 rows to be completed before I can move on. So I pick up the first 5, I go to the next chain, pick it up, and pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, so now I see 3.5. Let's go forward again, pick up the first 5. Okay, and then go to the next chain, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, so now I pull it apart. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, and the picket fence is 4.5. So what I want to do is now do the bind off like I did before. So we're going to yarn over. Sorry, we're going to go into the vertical, yarn over, and we pull through that one and the original. Be gentle about it because you'll kick yourself later if you don't. So just let it be nice and easy. And you're binding off, and the very last bind off will be in the last chain you used. So not a fresh chain. So you got the first 5 that are bound off, and we use the chain where this one is currently sitting in, so we don't grab a fresh one. And that will be how you would complete a square. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you another square just to make sure you got it, and then we'll carry on from there. So right where you're sitting, you're going to grab the next 6 empty chain. So yarn over and collect them. So in and collect. And so with the 6 that you're collecting, how many loops would that be on the hook? Yeah, that's right, it's 7. It's always 7. So now we're going to yarn over and come on back. So pull through 2s all the way back. So we start again. So the first vertical right here, go forward, collect the first 5. I don't really think you need to count it, but because it'll become really obvious when you can identify it. So you just have to ignore this last one. So you got the 5, you go to the next empty one on the chain, pull through, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, forward. Once you understand this, it should move a lot quicker for you. Okay, so you got the first 5, come on to the next empty chain, and so you're back to the 7 loops again, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, so I see 2.5 rows are done. I want 4.5. So let's go forward again. So I got the first 5, grab the next empty chain, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, so I see 3.5 rows done, so 1, 2, 3.5, and I want 4.5, right? So let's go forward again. So grabbing the first 5, and then grab the next one on the chain. I see 7 loops, pulling back through all, and this will be the 4.5 row mark. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So now we're going to do the bind off. Be easy about it. And so you're going to repeat doing the square all throughout the row of your chain work. And remember, so you do the first 5 bind off, and then the next one right here is the same one that this stitch is in. So it's not a fresh chain, it's the last chain you used. So you're going to want to repeat that all the way through to get all of your rows done. You're going to notice it's kind of twisting in a weird way. That'll settle down after you get the next pass going back through. So what I'm going to do now is that we are going to do your last triangle. So when you're ready for that, you'll play that from this point. To do the last triangle, there should only be 6 loops left to play with. So you just start on your chain and you pick up the next 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if you have chains left over, just undo the knot and just reset yourself if you're confident. So what you can do now is to return pass. So yarn over, pull through 2s all the way back. So every time you go forward now, you're going to be eliminating out 1 stitch for this side. So when you go forward, you just want to ignore the very last one right here. So going forward, yarn over, pick up, and you keep picking up, ignoring that last one. And so there will be 6 loops on the hook now instead of 7. So ignore the last, and then yarn over, pull through 2s. Okay, forward pass again, forward, and just ignore the last one. And now this time, there's only 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2s back. Okay, forward again, keep picking up, and ignore the last one. So this time there's only 4 loops on the hook. Pull through 2s back. Forward again, ignoring the last one. So this time there's only 3 loops. Pull through 2s, forward pass, there's only 1. So 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're done. So this would be your first pass going through. So you now have a triangle here on the side. The very base of the baby blanket actually looks just like this. And we're going to continue along, and we're going to start your next row. So I've not turned the project. This is where I finished. I just cut my yarn, and I'm just going to yarn over and just secure it in. And I don't want to turn the project over. I want to just move it back to the first triangle that we started with. So just make sure it's untwisted, and you're going to come back to the very first triangle here, and you're going to start right at the top of that and work your way back across. So you always are going in the same direction like that. So let's begin with some fresh yarn, and we're going to start at the very top. So what we need to do is that we need to collect a total of 7 loops, and we do not want to collect anything on this square. So the 7 have to be within here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's this one right here is where you're going to grab. Okay, so you grab that one. So there's your first loop. And now you're going to grab starting on the tops, and you're going to go in both of the strands. So if you were over tight with your slip stitching, this is where it becomes a nightmare. So you're just going to pick it up and pull through. So now you want to keep doing this until you see 7 loops on the hook. Okay, so 5, 6, and 7. So we don't want to interfere with this one yet. So we have our 7 loops, and now we're going to do a return pass. To do the return pass, you're just going to yarn over and pull through 2s all the way back. So the reason why Tunisian curls like that is because we never turn the project around backwards. So now we're going to do a forward pass, but this time we're going to connect to our one right here. So we get the verticals again, and we start going, and we pick up the first 5 like we had been before. So we're making a real triangle this time, or sorry, a real square. So we get our first 5, we ignore the last one, which is right here, and we go to the spot right where it's connecting right here. Okay, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Eventually you'll have enough in your hands that the curling won't get on your nerves. So now we go forward again. So we do the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the next one is right here on the connection. So it's the next empty one on the side. And pull through 2s. So how many rows are we going to do before we do the bind off? That's right, we're going to do 4.5. So now we can see 2.5 done. So now we're going to do a forward pass again. So we're picking up the first 5. We have a courier driver here in case the dogs go nuts. So we pick up the first 5, and then going into the next empty one on the side, and pull through 2 all the way back. One of the reasons I don't like filming Tunisian is that it curls in front of your face here on the camera. So now I have 3.5 rows, and now we do the forward pass again. Okay, so we got the first 5, and then we do the connection, pull through, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, now that 4.5 rows are completed, we're going to do that bind off. So we do the first 5, and now that you've seen that you're using the tops of those, you may actually be a little bit more relaxed with your stitches. So you do the first 5, and then the last one is going to be in the connection spot of where this is. And if you recall, that's exactly where we started when we did it here. So now we're going to start again, And so we're going to pick up the next 6 in a row. So right in the tops, grab both of the loops, which is a regular stitch, yarn over, pull through. I was a little tight here, so I'm paying the price of it now. Oops, I'm not supposed to pull through both. Just keep them both on the loop. Tunisian is not like knitting where if you make a mistake, it's a big deal. You can just undo it. So you're picking up the first 6, and so the 6 will take you to the one that is previous to where this is joining. And you have 7 loops back on the hook. So yarning over, pulling it through the 2s all the way back. So your squares are always done in the same way. So forward pass again, the next 5. And then the one after that is going to be the side of the next square that you're joining to. So you're going to join right where you have. So if you're not sure, you can look back to see where you joined it. See? Okay, and it's right here. I look back for my own purposes and then pull through 2s all the way back. So if you ever notice entrelac and the squares are not kind of aligned, it's because people may not be paying attention to where they're connecting. So forward pass again. How many rows are you looking for before you bind off? That's right, it's 4.5. But I don't really start counting until I get closer up to the side. So we get the next empty one, and then coming all the way back. Okay, forward again. So I pick up the first 5, connect, and then back. So how many rows do we have done so far? That's right, it's 3.5 so far. So forward pass again. And connect. And 2s all the way back. So now we have 4.5 rows going to be completed in just a second. And so we have to start the bind off again. So binding off loosely. Okay. And then the last one is in the same spot where this is connecting, and that's where you're going to slip stitch and join it. So what you're going to do is start all over again. So you'll pick up the next ones that you'll have. So you'll pick up the next 6. So this will be your last square. So if it was your regular square, it's still the same thing. And you pick up the next 6 in a row. And the trick is when you pick up the 6, you don't pick up any of the joining ones. So you pick up the 6, so now you see 7 loops. This is still free and empty, which is fine, and return pass back. So this would be a regular square, but also how the ending square would be as well, which is what I'm doing. So forward pass, pick up the first 5. Okay, and then connect. So it's right here. See that? If you don't choose that same spot, just always choose the same spot. So if it's not the one I'm pointing to, just always be sure it's consistent. Forward pass again. So how many rows do we need? That's right, it's 4.5. Is it always 4.5? It is in this pattern, but entrelac can be any size squares. But entrelac is typically done with 7 loops on the hook. Why that is, I don't know. But if you know why, you can leave me a comment on that. Next one is connecting. So 3.5 rows are done. And you see I got more of it, so it's not scrolling in front of my face anymore. Okay, next one, connect. Pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, and now I have 4.5 rows done. So now I'm going to do the cast off. So bind off. And so this row, whenever you have it, will always just be full squares going across, and you won't need to worry about doing triangles. Okay, and the last one, what I would do, just for consistency, put it to the next one that's up. Like that. And therefore you would have then your squares done. So this will be the end of this row. So we need to get back to where we were. So we're going to snip it, and we need to just push it back like a typewriter, an old-fashioned one, and go back and restart. And we're going to restart right here. As we begin your third strip, this is kind of looking like this, right? But in actual fact, it's this. Okay, so this is going straight on down. It's just not doing it because, you know, tension. So when we go to do it, we're going to be doing it very much like this one. We're going to start down here. We're going to build out the triangle, and the triangle will come up, and then we will fill in the squares and end with the triangle for third pass. So let's do third pass. So let's create a slip knot, put it onto the hook. And we are going to go to where this is slip stitched right here. And we're going to slip on, and so we're connected. Put the strand on the back, and you'll have to deal with that later, just weave it in. So now you're going to chain 1, and in the same one of the connection, you are going to single crochet. So we have to pay attention to where the verticals are, plus also the connection spots. So we're now going to get the vertical, which is right here. I'll keep this close. And then we're just going to grab that one, yarn over, pull through. So now we're going to connect right here. Yarn over, pull through. And now pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, now we're going to go forward. So we're going to grab this one, the vertical, and then we grab the next one right here. It's kind of hidden there, but it's there. And then we go to the next connection spot on the side of the square. And now we have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2s. So how many loops do we need to have on the hook at the end? 7, that's right. So now we're gonna go forward, we're gonna collect those verticals again. And don't forget that last one right here. And to the next connection spot. So we have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2s all the way back. Forward pass. Okay, make sure you get that last one. And then the connection spot. So now we have 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2s. And now we're going to do the forward pass again. So forward, don't forget the one in the end here, and then the connection spot. See how it's kind of like turned around the corner? That's where that's supposed to be. So now we have 7 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 2s at the same time. And then that was it. So we have to do the bind off to get ourselves back to where this connection spot is. So we just do the bind off. So yarning over, make sure there's a bit of slack. And so now you've just done a fresh triangle on this side, and your last stitch will be right here. Slip stitch right there, and then that's where you begin again. Okay, so you'll be securing in your yarn later. So then you start again. So you're going to start a fresh square. So you're going to pick up the first 6 loops. So the first 6 stitches, just pick them up and take them with you. So remember, like the square, we do not, on the first pickup, we do not interfere with the neighbor. We just stay within the top of this one. And then you have your 7 loops again, so you're not interfering with this guy yet, and pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, forward pass. So you pick up the first 5 and ignore the last one, and then connect to the joining square. So we go right here, because they're not here, here, and connect, and pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, forward pass again, and again you are aiming for the 4.5 rows. Connect, and you're back to 7, and pull through 2s back. Forward pass. Connect. 2s all the way back. So I see 3.5 rows done so far, so I'm forward passing again, looking for that magic 4.5 rows to be done. Okay, connect. And now I see my 7 loops, and then we come on back. So now 4.5 rows are done, and we're going to do the cast off process. Okay, and then the last one is going to be in the same one where this is in. And so then we start again, and we keep doing these squares, and they're really quite beautiful once you get moving on these things. So you'll start a new square, and you'll pick up the 6. So what I'm going to do for you is that I'm going to ask you to keep on moving across, because what I'm showing you right now is something you've already gone through a few times already. So you pick up the next 6, so there's a total of 7, return pass back. So you keep working on your squares just how I showed you, and then eventually you're going to end up with a partial, like a triangle at the end, and that's where I'm going to pick you up in a few moments. So I'm going to get this done, and I'll see you at the top of the last one to finish off the last piece. So I've just now cast off the bind off here, and I have the final triangle. So what I'm going to do is pick up the next 6 in a row. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one is 6. Okay, so I have a total of 7 loops, yarn over, pull through 2s all the way back. And just like we did down here, we're going to do the same thing, where when we do the forward pass, we're going to ignore the very last one. So forward now, and ignore the last stitch. Okay, so we're ignoring the last one right here, and then pull through 2s all the way back. Okay, forward pass, and ignore the last one. Right on the edge, just ignore it and pull through twos all the way back. So you keep doing this until you get only one loop left on the hook. So forward pass, ignore the last one, and then pull through twos. Forward pass, ignore the last one and pull through twos, and then forward pass, just got the one, and then pull through two, and you're done. So this would be this row. So what you have to do now is that you have to repeat rows second and third strips. So I had second and third pass over and over and over, because then it's then consistent. The blanket does actually have points that are on the tops and the bottoms of this, but what I'll do for you is that I'll show you how to flatten that off, because I know that's going to be a question. So that's not in this pattern, but I'll show you how to do that just in case that bothers you. So let's go into extra credit on being able to flatten off the tops and the bottoms, and you can do the same thing for both sides. And we're gonna just secure this off, and whatever color that you want to do is that you're going to start off with the point of the last one that you worked on. So I'll get the other color here. Okay, so what I need to do is that I need to grab my 7 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is just around the corner, and that's where I want to attach my yarn. And I am going to attach it, and then I'm going to collect the next 6 here. So like before, I do not want to I don't know what I'm saying. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to collect my 7 in a row. Oh, I don't want to connect to the other square right away. So I got 2 so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I don't connect here. So the trick to make it flat on the edge is actually at the back of the hook over here. So we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through twos until you can see 3 loops on the hook. I can see 3, so now I'm going to pull through all 3. And so when you do the forward pass, you're going to ignore this one and go right here. See how that's leaning into that one anyway? And so we go in and we pick up that one, and so there will be one less vertical here. So we pick up that, we ignore the last one, and we do the connection. And when we return pass, we're still going through twos, but when we see the third loop, the 3 loops, we pull through everything, all 3. And so we keep on going across. Picking it through, connect, and return pass. And when you see only 3 loops, pull through all 3. Okay, return pass. Now there's only 3 loops left. And keep going forward. And that's your last one here. Pull through all 3 loops. And then you're technically done. So you're just going to slip stitch to where that last one was connected. And what you've been able to do is to be able to flatten off that completely. So to start again, you just pick up the next 6 here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now you're back to 7 loops on the hook. So then pull through twos until you see 3 loops left on the hook. So 3 loops, pull through all 3, and then start again. So we start here, so we ignore this one and go forward. Okay, and then we connect. So the connection spots are still identical, and when you see the 3 loops when you return, pull through all 3. So you're eliminating a stitch on that side. Forward pass, connect, return, until you see 3 loops and pull through all 3. So again, forward, connect, pull through all 3, forward, connect again, and this is your last 3. And so you'll just slip stitch in the top of the last connection join, and then you'll start all over again. And so what you're doing is you're creating a flat edge here instead of leaving it like this. So when you're ready for this, at the very end of this, you just turn the blanket upside down this way, and you'll start on this corner, and you'll do exactly the same thing. And you'll just come across, and therefore you'll have flat edges on both tops, bottoms, and also the sides. We hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and let me know how I did in the comments below. We'll see you. Bye-bye.